The Jeffrey Show.
Who could be scared of a Jeffrey? My name's Jeff.
Welcome to the Jeffrey Show live on Saddleback Radio. It's Tuesday, March 11th, 2025. It is top of the hour, the 5 p.m. hour. And I'm, of course, your Chef Jeff. Just let me cook, bro. And, of course, I am very excited, very excited to have two lovely guests. My first ever twin sisters as guests. I've had brothers before, but twin sisters, first time, Miss Sophi and Bella Hanna. Sorry. I knew I was going to screw one of your names up.
Yeah, hi.
These lovely ladies, they own the Phiella Beer Company. Sorry, this is the second time I'm hearing this name. So thank you once again so much for coming in. It's a real treat to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, we're excited to be here.
I'm excited just as much as you are. So let's just get into it. So what I like to do is frame a story of my guests. And let's just get into the portion of where are you from?
Well, yeah, we're from Laguna Niguel.
That's where I'm from?
Yeah, Orange County.
Yeah.
Born and raised here. We went away for school a little bit. I was at San Luis Obispo, and Bella was at
UCLA.
Yeah, so we spent some time still in California coast because it's too nice here. But
Did you go to Dana Hills by chance?
Yeah.
Nice. I graduated there.
Oh,
there
cool.
you go.
Yeah.
What year did you graduate?
2018.
2018. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I graduated 03.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
What do you think of like the modifications of Dana Hills so far? I haven't been there in a while, but it looks like they're doing a new whole school out there in the far region of the campus.
Yeah. It looks really nice. I mean, it always needed it when we were there. We were walking out to Africa and the portables. And it seems like it's due time for it. There's so many kids there.
Yeah, the portables and now it's like a full facility. I'm like, why didn't we get these upgrades? But
yeah,
it's just
too late.
Make with what you do.
Yeah.
So you went from Dana Hills High School and you went to San Luis Obispo?
Yes.
Like straight from high school to San Luis Obispo, or did you have to go like junior college, here, anything like that?
Well, we actually went to community college at Santa Barbara City.
Okay.
So we went there for 2 years, then transferred, and that's Santa Barbara City is when we started brewing. So.
Okay,
yes.
So you were at college, and then, so what got you into the brewing biz? What it was during college?
Yes.
Yeah. And so did you like abandon the education because I've got this successful business, brewing beer, and you decided.
We should have.
Yeah, we really should have. We should have started at 19. Started selling it then.
Yeah. So you're in the middle of college, and then what did your parents think of like, hey, we don't need this anymore. We got this cool business now that we're starting up.
Yeah, well, when we first started, it definitely wasn't a business at all. It was more of a joke. Our grandma got us a beer set for Christmas one year because we both liked beer, even though I guess you're not legally supposed to say that yet. But we both liked beer, and we thought we both liked cooking and baking.
We had heard of somebody making their own beer, and we're like, that sounds so fun. And we got that around like January, and cracked it open, made our first batch of beer, and we loved it.
Yeah, that was our sophomore year of college.
Yes,
sophomore year of college.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to San Luis Obispo. You're going to UCLA.
Yes.
So how were you able to gather and work together on the brewing process?
I brought the kit up with me to San Luis Obispo because I had a big backyard.
Okay.
LA's a little tricky. You didn't really even have a backyard, did you?
No.
Yeah. So I just had a big backyard, put out the kit, and then she'd come to visit sometimes when I brew, and we'd brew together.
Yeah. Well, we visit each other. We saw each other pretty much every other week if we didn't see each other every week. So it wasn't like there was a long time between times we were with the beer and
connected at the hip.
I mean, these twins just are inseparable.
They really are.
They really are.
Weird. But yeah, we kept brewing throughout it and just kind of got better at it and got more into it. Invested a little bit more into it.
Yeah. The beer kit came with us everywhere. At first, we had like our little OG one our grandma got, and then that following summer of our sophomore year, when we were getting more into brewing. This was also 2020. So that was a year of COVID, of course. So we were pretty bored. So we had more time on our hands. So we started looking into buying a bigger setup that had more capabilities. So that's when we bought our microbrewery set. That came with all of the little things that you needed.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was our bigger set that we took up to SLO, that we brought home, that we like kind of traveled with.
Yeah.
And eventually made our beer that we have now with.
Yeah. And we got really lucky with that set too, because we were looking online, like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. Ended up going to this guy's house on Craigslist, in San Clemente, just down the street. And we just needed a few little items, and he ended up selling this huge microbrewery set, sold it to us for a smoking deal. And we walked away and we're like, wow, we can now actually make really good beer. And we came with like a truckload full of supplies. It was crazy.
Wow. And did you get a good deal for it?
Oh yeah, hardly nothing. Like he heard that we were making beer and we were passionate about it, and he was like, I had a big hobby making beer. He's like, I want this out of my garage. Like, I would love to help support you guys and stuff.
So when you made this first beer from the very first kit that your grandmother gifted you for Christmas, is it far from and like a different taste from the now than what it was how it started?
Yeah.
The first like homebrew kits, if you get those online, they're almost like making a cake out of a box, where they like give you this everything's kind of mixed together, and you just add water and boil it, and it's a lot easier. You don't they'll give you like a syrup to make the beer and like a powder instead of using actual grains and hops.
And that's what we realized too, is because we wanted to make different types of beer, and when we dove into that, we realized our little tiny couple gallon setup couldn't even fit the amount of grains that we needed to even make this beer that we wanted to make. So we had no choice but to get the microbrewery set.
So when I hear syrup and what was the other ingredient?
Like it was like a powder, Yeah.
Ew. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. Well, yeah, that's awesome that you're like. I mean, I also wanted to point out, this is important, the age you are right now. You are what, 25, 26?
25.
So I always thought that's incredible, because when I was 25, I was doing nothing. I wasn't focused on like trying to make a business for myself. It's a very brave thing to do.
Thank you.
Yeah. I would like totally put on our parents are entrepreneurs. Both of them have small businesses. So with like anything came to mind, they've always like made us feel like we could do anything and support us, like being like, you can do this if you want to. If you want to, figure it out. You can make it work. And just having that or somebody saying that you can do it from somebody that you respect and actually has made businesses for themselves.
Yeah, I feel like it's funny because I feel like both of us have like felt like at a young age that we had to kind of have something to make a business for. Like we've always had it in the back of our mind, like what could we do as our business? So
yeah, because you're always hanging together. You're like, why? How can we combine our brains, our brains together and make something cool?
Yeah, definitely like an entrepreneurial spirit too, just from our family.
Yeah,
it seemed like it wasn't like far out of reach, even though it was like over our head. We're like, how are we going to start a beer company? That's impossible. But
so when you're making this first batch of beer, again from your grandmother's kit, did people, after you made that, did they say you did such a good job and requested again from that? Or did you say, oh, we need to like get something better on the next batch?
It turned out drinkable. Yeah. But it was definitely that I think we turned and we were like, we need to make something better. We do something a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like making like a box cake where you're like, that was good, but it could be a lot better. And like now that I know how to like make the basics of it, like why don't I just get more creative? We both love cooking and baking again, so it's like having that kind of like creative spirit with like making things that you can consume in your body was just very inspiring to both of us, I think.
Oh, so you're speaking on like health conscious wise, like
yeah.
Like liking to making things from scratch and finding like the best ingredients that you can make something that's really yummy.
Yeah.
That was definitely the exciting part of brewing. We didn't even realize we would have been getting out of it.
So break this down for me. When you said it started off as a joke, what did you mean by that? Is it the grandmother giving you the kit?
No.
In general.
Just being 19-year-olds in college, like I feel like everything's a joke.
Like also like two young girls making beer like literally at 19 years old. It just felt like a joke, and it was like kind of a joke.
It was just a silly thing, and we were like cracking up the whole time we're making it because it's so like, I don't know, it's like very witchy. Like you have this big pot of, whatever you're boiling.
Yes.
It's like a big stew outside with a big propane tank that you're lighting, and it's like a bunch of fuel exhaust, and you're like, oh my God, are we going to blow up?
And you're making something that you legally can't consume. Yes. So it's just like a funny concept. It's just, it feels like
college.
You're like Breaking Bad, but
it's just
it does sound like Breaking
beer.
Bad. Yeah. Who's Jesse and who's what's his name?
Oh my God.
I haven't seen it.
I'm probably Jesse. You're probably Walt.
I was going to say the opposite.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're brewing this beer, and then like, are you getting like friends hitting you up? Hey, yo, hook it up. We want some of this cool Phiella beer. And did you even have that name yet? The name wasn't there yet.
No,
okay.
No.
I want to get to the name later. So you decide to make you decide to keep going with this, and you're getting all these requests.
Yeah.
How are you, managing this without, causing much trouble for yourselves?
Well, I think people were just like, what, you guys are making beer, I want beer.
Yeah.
A lot of our guy friends and stuff.
That's how they all sound. I want some beer.
Yeah.
Well, then
I want some beer now.
that was when Sophie was at Slow and we had our microbrewery set, and then we also bought a kegerator because we started wanting to serve our beer on tap. Because of course, when you like make a beer, you need to get it out somehow.
Yeah, of
When you
course.
just have it in these big like plastic containers, you're like, what's the next step? So now that we had a kegerator on tap, and Sophie had a big backyard, and she was in the nice location where she would just have friends over and have them try the beer all the time.
Yeah, I would make beer in the backyard. And with beer, there's like a good amount of waste, like the spent grains and stuff. And I would literally just dump the grains out in my backyard because it was just like this little whimsical forest. San Luis Obispo, the backyards are crazy. I would just dump the grains in the backyard, fertilize the soil and stuff.
So it didn't like hinder the dirt out there.
You
Just
couldn't
kind
even
of
tell.
okay.
Yeah. But it was really like, it was its own like little ecosystem, that house and the beer and the kegerator. And the kegs were a big move once we got those because we didn't have to bottle anymore. That's a lot of work. So the kegerator was fun.
So you started off bottling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
these
I
are
forgot about
still
that.
you're still not branded yet.
No.
No name, nothing.
no.
So when you're learning the process, is there any literature you're taking in, or was with a kit? Did they provide some sort of step by step? Like, how did you learn this?
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube and like just looking up like
Duh.
images of like types of beer, what's the differences, like literally.
And it was hard at first
PowerPoints.
because a lot of like you've heard probably a lot of people that brew beer are retired older dudes.
Oh yeah,
So-
I did a neighbor of mine would
Exactly.
brew beer with like whiskey.
Yeah. And every single, so if you look up like how to
crazy.
make beer and like trying to make a specific type of beer, we just like, surf YouTube and like or not Instagram, Safari on like different recipes, but they're all written by these like older dudes where it's
Yeah.
very particular. Everything's like, if you don't do this, it's not gonna turn out, blah blah blah. So a lot of it we kind of just took we were not very specific people when it
Yeah.
comes to stuff like we're like cooks, I think, more than bakers, that we like to be a little creative and have our own spin to things.
Yeah.
So we kind of took some things with a grain of salt, which turned out good on our end, over killing ourselves over following every little detail, because I think that it can be intimidating that way with the homebrew culture.
Yes.
We're like, oh my gosh, we're going to mess this up. But beer is really not that hard to make.
We would also though drill the guy who owned the brew shop
Yes.
down the street from us, O'Shea's brew shop.
Oh yeah, I know
Yeah,
O'Shea's.
yes.
Before I moved to LA, we bought like a keg or two from there.
Okay, cool.
And I actually they did a run club there, like a pub run club there.
Oh yes, yeah, I've seen
They're
that.
awesome there. Yeah,
they're
Brandon
great.
Portnoff.
Yes.
He helped us a lot.
Wait,
with,
explain to me what O'Shea's did again. I'm sorry, I was.
That was where we would buy our grains and ingredients
Gotcha.
for the beer.
Okay,
And
yeah.
every time we would go in there, we'd have a list of questions. But our questions, I wouldn't say were the best questions. Like ours were like basic questions, like talking about where we learned our basics. We first learned it from YouTube and from like just like pictures of like what things mean. And going in there, we had just probably the worst questions you could have.
yeah,
when
we'd be
you're
like,
making
don't
beer.
judge us, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
how
but
would
like,
we do this or
yeah, but you're going into it, you're learning. So
Yeah.
of course the first questions are gonna be the silly ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
there were a lot of
But I'm
silly
sure you
ones.
came in like the next time you started like so how do you break this compound? And like you sound like a science like Walter White
Yeah.
in Breaking Bad. So I think it's very interesting. So that O'Shea's, were they welcoming or were they snobby?
Oh, they're
No.
so nice.
Yeah, the nicest. Brandon is so. We always say that he reminds us of our dad. Like he's just so nice, and I think he almost like always had a smirk on his face when we talked to him because we asked the dumbest questions, but he'd always answer. It was really sweet.
Yeah,
and
really nice.
He'd always tell us like, "You guys need to start a business. Are you guys gonna do anything out of this?" And we're
Yeah.
like, "You think we should start a business?" But he was so helpful.
When
and
was
sweet
this
to
first
us.
time you went to O'Shea's? How old were you then? Okay, you were 21.
Yeah, 21.
We were 19.
21. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm gonna look away from this because you're doing it in like a respectable way. I think
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
we want to make it. That doesn't mean we're consuming it.
Yeah.
you know?
No.
That-
We saved it. It's,
saved it
Yeah,
from-
long fermented beer.
Yeah.
We still have it in the archives.
You have it labeled
Yeah.
the year. This is your.
Yeah, our beer caves.
Yeah.
We keep it all.
Yeah. Like the cheese caves.
The cheese caves. What's
yeah,
that?
like in Italy and stuff, where they
Oh,
have like,
yeah,
like where there's like all like inside like little divots in the wall. That's like Bella and I's archives of beer.
What was before like in college? What was the beer you were not consuming?
We were both I guess when we first started making beer, we were really into hazies. That was kind of
Okay.
like the hazy wave was like 2018, I guess. I feel
Yeah.
like the West, the West Coast hazies.
You think the hazies are the best? Or were great then?
We were
Yeah.
obsessed with them. Like a little hazy thing came out. We're like, this thing's insane. And then like Mind Haze, which is so disgusting, but we would drink all those. And
Yeah.
we wanted to make a hazy. We were inspired to make a hazy that was light on your stomach. So
Yeah.
that's where we started. We were making
Oh,
ales.
Yeah.
Because they kill your stomach. But we loved the fruitiness and
Yeah.
the flavor from them. And that definitely like long term led to like the creation of Phiella, being that it's a lager, but going with just that trying to tone down the effects on your stomach.
Yeah.
It was definitely inspired from the beginning of where we started.
IPAs, man, those things are dangerous. And I've like had to make a rule for myself to like consume. If I'm gonna have like one, and it's like gonna be with a meal.
Yeah.
But if I have a couple, that's when I'm asking for trouble.
Yeah,
And now it's got for me now it's like light beers are just fine for me.
totally. It's
And that's what we found throughout making all of our beers, because we really like honed in on the hazies and trying to make a different type of IPA that was lighter. And when it came down to it, we just realized the lager was our best move.
yeah
light
what we
beers.
just enjoyed the most. Good ones.
Yeah. By the time we tried all the hazies, we kind of just got over them, which we're like, that's not a good sign if we're trying to make one beer and we're already over it after a couple of years.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, IPAs they just get the flavor gets a little too overwhelming.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I get I definitely have kind of gotten past it. Even if you're drinking like if there's a beer that's from Russian River,
Yeah.
And those are the top tier beers. Everybody wants the Pliny's and the Pliny the Youngers and all that stuff. But I'm like after one, I'm like I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a little music break. Again, we have the Phiella sisters, the twin sisters. That I like to call them that because they own their own beer company. Isn't that crazy? And they're only 25. So I got Sophie and Bella here. Sophie and Bella Hanna.
Hanna.
I'm never gonna get that correct. Hanna. Sophie and Bella Hanna. Again, stay tuned. This song is called "Not in Surrender." I'm really liking the song. I cannot say his name. Obong Gonjar. You're live on the Sophi and Bella Show. Stay tuned.
My name, yeah.
This year, this year, Smokey Bear turns about, I think he's going to be turning 81. I'm reading a PSA from last year, but it still fits. Yep, he's turning the big 81. And over those 81 years, he's taught us how to prevent unwanted human-caused wildfires with his famous message. Only you can prevent wildfires. I'm supposed to insert a personal anecdote. I just like to say, stop throwing cigarettes out your car, okay? Dispose of them respectfully into a cup with water in it and throw it away when you get home. Don't be lazy. So on Smokey's 81st birthday, let him continue his iconic legacy because Smokey lives within us all. Learn his wildfire prevention tips at smokeybear.com, brought to you by the USDA Forest Service and your state forester and the Ad Council. Ooh, look at these tracks. I got to take a closer look. I believe these are train tracks. What is that directly coming towards me? Is that a train? Oh, now I'm dead. I'm dead because I was stupid and went near the train tracks. Now I'm a dumb ghost reading this PSA. Folks, you know how to avoid train tracks? Don't go near train tracks. Don't be stupid like me with my dumb brain and approach train tracks.
You are one pathetic loser.
If you go near train tracks. Brought to you by the Sophi and Bella Association and the Jeff Dub Council.
That's the joy of the Jeffrey, you see. It goes away, but then it comes back. Ah!
Yes, we are back. I am your host, Chef Jeff, here to cook you some tasty segments and a little bit of music on the side here. It is Tuesday, March 11th, 2025, and it is 5:25 p.m. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, again, my two guests of the show. Hope I get this right. Sophie and Bella Hanna.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I got it right. Cool. Oh, and I forgot the high porn. There we go. I got to get that in. What would be a radio show without a high porn? You need that. And then maybe a little explosion. There you go. Sophie and Bella, thank you again for coming in and being my guests. It's I very much appreciate you being here. So.
Thank you.
Well, I wanted to get, so how did you narrow your beer choice? We were kind of talking about it, but like I kind of want to know, how did you choose a Mexican lager?
Yeah.
Yeah, for our Mexican lager, why did we choose it?
Also, I didn't mention, you are the sisters that own the beer company, Phiella Beer.
Yes.
So let's make sure everybody is aware. Well, why were we just talking about beer? So how did you narrow down this beer style?
I think what it just came down to is our favorite. It's the beer that we drink the most, and when starting a company, we wanted to make something that everyone would want to drink. And when it came down to it, we just thought, why wouldn't we just make the thing that we drink the most, along with all other Americans? Mexican lagers are the #1 selling beer in the world.
Yeah, Modelos and stuff.
Modelos,
yeah.
And I worked at a bar a little bit before we started Phiella, and I noticed that every single person came in, they said, "What's your Mexican lager on tap?" That was the first question. And this is Southern California, so it definitely is the most popular beer here.
Of course.
We visited New York just a few months ago. I can never find a Mexican lager on tap.
That's weird.
There's Modelo maybe, but they never have like a craft Mexican lager on tap. Never. So
Okay.
it's definitely more popular on the Southern California coast, but I think that it's a likable beer. People down here drink it all the time because it's refreshing and easy to drink. So that it just seemed like a no-brainer after we kind of gotten like the idea, like we loved it. And then after I was working that job too, we're like, we have to do this. This just makes sense.
And then you decided you want to step it up a notch here and make it organic, correct?
Yes. That was, I think, like a more of like, before we even decided on the Mexican lager, we were making beer and we were like, we want to find organic grains because we wanted to make a beer that would be easier on our stomach. So we were trying to find everything organic and we couldn't. At these homebrew shops, none of them sold organic. And online, we couldn't even find it online either. So it was just one of those things. You had to have like a license or something. And even from there, I was just like, where do you find this organic grains? So that was an early on desire. Like we just knew like when we come out with this beer, it has to be made with as much of the best quality ingredients as possible.
Well, my question was going to be, what are the challenges of making organic beer? How do you now have a consistent influx of the ingredients that you require to make this beer?
Yeah. It's... I forgot the question. What was it again?
Did you find the proper distributors that cater to what kind of ingredients that you require to make this beer?
Once we got our license and we're talking with brewers and looking actually on the grain list, we could find organic, but it's just one of those things that in the industry it's not cared about. Most of it, like when we go to these just home brewing in general and just like what you can find readily available online, organic grains aren't a priority. At least they weren't like a few years ago when we started doing this. So it seemed just like a lack of value for organic grains just in the culture of brewing, which we love brewers. I respect them. They make homemade, beer all the time. Sometimes they might make it a little bit differently than us, but they definitely put in the work to make really good, fresh products.
Yes.
We just wanted to go the extra step and not having these things in our beer.
I appreciate it. I mean, if I'm going to consume a beer, I don't like to have to feel like I just ate a brick, or just ate like a whole loaf of bread, So I appreciate those type of styles of beers when they kind of lighten the load and lighten the damage on your stomach.
Exactly.
Totally.
Or everything,
Yeah.
for that matter.
I know.
So you said there's like a German, I mean, obviously the Germans, introduced Mexican beer or introduced beer to Mexico. So I read something about making it German style. What's the German style involve?
The grains that we get are from Germany and like EU in general. So just in general, like we had also studied abroad. Maybe we can get into it later, but we studied abroad and we both were enjoying.
We didn't study abroad.
We worked abroad after we graduated. So that was in 2022. And we were drinking all these like Pilsners out there, and we're like, wow, these beers are also good. And a lot of them are made freshly in Europe, So a lot of even like the Heineken tastes so much better than it does here. So we, out there they don't use any pesticides or anything. So that's what we use is like we use German malts and stuff that we bring over here and brew the beer with.
Does that make there in itself a challenge because of the cost? Because you got to have it shipped from Europe.
A lot of
breweries get it from Europe.
Yeah, from
Germany.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Wireman's a big brand, and a lot of brewers use their like 2-row and stuff. So a lot of it's already coming over. It's just a little bit more pricier for the organic, but it's not a huge cost difference. It's not.
It isn't. Okay.
No. It's because that's the stuff that people are using out there. It's being made. It's just that it's not. I don't know. It's not seen very commonly in breweries over here.
Where were you? What were you doing in Europe working there? Was it have anything to do with beer or?
Kind of.
Yeah. We worked on. We did woofing, which is World of Organic Farming, and both of us like somewhat have a background of farming. Both of our grandparents, they had a small farm in Michigan, and they grew tomatoes, beans, corn,
Pumpkins.
and a big pumpkin farm. And so we just grew up with farming kind of being a part of our lifestyle. We, like, living here, we always had a big garden in our backyard and everything. And after graduating college, because we were in college during COVID, we didn't get to study abroad, and that was something we really were bummed that we missed out on. So we tried to find a way that we could travel abroad for a longer period of time without paying as much. And so we did woofing. And so we worked on an olive grove and olive grove.
On an organic olive grove and a natural winery.
Yeah, natural winery. And it was a crazy experience.
It was really crazy. It was really crazy. But that was the only way that we could do it. And I guess we aren't the type of, like, full granola girls. That's the type of people that are going to, like, pull up in sandals and, like, one tiny bag and be like, we're going to be here for whatever. Like, we came with, like, we squeezed in a trip to Paris before, and we had our full backpacks and stuff, so we were ready, like, to make the most out of our trip. And it turned out to be one of the craziest adventures ever.
Yeah. The first farm that we worked on, which was the winery, we got kicked off of early.
What were you doing?
We were supposed to be there for 2.5 weeks.
You're missing, like, half the story, though. It was so crazy.
Yeah, no, it was insane. But we were supposed to be there for 2.5 weeks, and then we were there for what?
A week.
Goodness.
So, but yeah, the lady was really mean. She was, like, overworking us. We were working. We'd wake up at 7 a.m. and then we'd get back for breakfast/lunch at 3 p.m. and then expected to go back out and work till 7 p.m.
Oh, wow.
And we're like,
for free?
For free, for free, yeah. And they would really make fun of us at the dinner table, and they'd be like, we could kind of pick up on the language, and they'd pretty much be like, oh, you're letting them, like, they work here for free, and you feel blah blah, and they'd be laughing at us, and we're like,
Stupid Americans.
What did you get kicked out just because they thought you were lazy, or did you do something? Did you get snooty?
No. It was a few days into it, and we were with one of our best girlfriends too that we grew up with. And we kind of all noticed this, like, it's only, like, you agree to, like, work, like, 7 hours a day or something.
It was 20 hours a week.
20 hours a week, and then you get breaks and whatever, but it was such intense working conditions, and we knew that, and we're, like, old enough to understand our value, and we're being taken advantage of. And when we were out picking grapes after we were going to lunch, I told the lady, I was like, or Barbara, I was like, hey, I think we're done for the day, or, like, if we're coming back out, like, I'm done. Maybe tomorrow you can let us know when we're going to be done, if we're going to be working later. I just need to talk to family, blah, blah, blah. And she just didn't take it well and completely, like, snapped on us and just had a fit. And I was like, well, if you'd prefer, we could leave and you can bring in other woofers to take our place. And she's like, that's a very good idea. And pretty much cussed me out the entire way home. I was very civil. I'm not high drama. It was just kind of like I knew that we were getting taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And had to put my foot down at some point. And then we drove home. Bella was separated from us. She was with, like, the dad and the son.
Yeah.
And I was like, Bella, we're leaving. She already knew because we're sisters. We just got the eyes.
It was sad because we went grocery shopping. I was with the son and the dad, and we went grocery shopping, and they got a keg for us. That was the thing with the farm. It was crazy, but every single night we had amazing food and amazing wine, of course, because it was on a winery. So we'd always go.
What country was this?
Italy.
And what city or place? Region?
It was in
Piacenza,
which is, like, northern west.
Yeah. It was a little bit Milan, yeah.
But going into it, wasn't the agreement you could only work 20 hours a week?
Yeah, there was a total agreement.
We had an agreement.
She was just overworking us, and there was no bathroom break. I mean, there was no bathroom at all, and she wouldn't tell us when we're done or when we're going, and it was just, she would tell us the whole time, faster, like, you're not going fast enough. So we were just getting, like, whipped by this lady pretty much.
The main thing was the overwork, the hours.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't agree to this.
Yeah, we didn't agree to it.
But it was really fun outside of that. It was just, like, the hours working was brutal, but outside of that, like, the lifestyle and everything was amazing.
It was so crazy.
It was
so crazy.
It was crazy.
She was, like, acting like you didn't appreciate, like, I'm teaching you something here.
Yeah, she didn't like Americans.
Yeah.
She didn't like Americans.
She saw us as workers only.
Yes.
Nothing else. But with that being said, it was really inspiring still to us because we were at a natural winery. It was where they naturally let their wine settle. They don't use any filtration.
Yeah, no filtration, no cold, no temperature control. So it was just, like, sitting in these big vats. Covered in a dark room, and they just let the wine do its thing. So.
And then, like, in Italy, you can eat bread and not feel terrible afterwards.
Yeah, and that's, like, something we've always said with our beer. Like, that was the idea we wanted to bring with our beer, the fact that you can, like, have bread and as much pasta as you want in Italy and feel fine. We, like, kind of want to bring that mindset to America with
Our beer, yeah, just using the best quality ingredients, no additives and stuff.
But being from that winery, even though we had a crazy experience leaving, we were both really, really inspired after we left it because we just couldn't get it out of our mind as a natural winery, and we're like, where are the natural beer markets at? And that was like fully correlated for us.
Definitely.
I don't even know of any other natural beer.
No,
there's none.
There's
not, at least ones
that we know of.
Yeah, that are marketed or anything. I've never heard of any. But yeah, as crazy as the experience was, the sun was awesome, and we just had we had like an arrow shot into our bedroom. Like the weirdest things happened on this trip. I can't even explain.
We might have to get into that. Maybe she just didn't like. Maybe she didn't like you talking to her son.
Yeah, probably. I think that was one of the theories. But yeah,
funny.
She
was something else.
Well, I think we got to get maybe into more of the stories possibly later if we can fit it all in here. We're going to take a little break. This is Superfly by the Magician. Stay tuned. You're on the Jeffrey Show on Saddleback Radio. When it comes to making plans, you are the best. From those delicious barbecues to special birthdays and unforgettable family get-togethers. The same way you plan for those important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster like a hurricane, flood, wildfire, or tornado. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started today at ready.gov/plan. A public service message brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Ooh, what beautiful scenery. Now I must take a selfie at this steep cliff. I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Oh wait, I tripped and now I'm falling to my death. Now I'm back as a dumb ghost reading this PSA. Folks, when you feel the need to take a selfie, be sure you are aware of your own surroundings, such as a rock or a log near a steep cliff. After all, you don't want to be remembered for dying from a cliff selfie. Brought to you by the Jeffrey Association and the Jeffed Up Council.
My name is Jeff.
Welcome back to the Jeffrey Show on Saddleback Radio. It's Tuesday, March 11th, 2025. It's currently 5:44 p.m., and I'm your host, Jeff Holt. Of course, I am very grateful and happy to have these two lovely twin sisters here, Sophi and Bella Hanna, owner of the Phiella Beer Company, as my guest. So once again, thank you so much for coming in. I thought it'd be fun if we get into overrated, underrated. That's a fun little segment, or it can be accurately rated. Are you familiar with that concept? So basically, I'm going to give you a subject, and you're going to say, do you think that's overrated or underrated or accurately rated? So we can just start off. Since we're going to make this a beer theme, let's start off with the big giant Budweiser. Overrated? Are you afraid to say? If you're afraid to say, you don't have to say.
No.
Because what I'm going to get to is like say. Anheuser-Busch comes to you and say, hey, we want to distribute your beer. And then, but wait, we just heard you say, we thought, or you said you were, your opinion of us is you think we're overrated.
Yeah.
So you can, it's up to you.
In a bottle, underrated.
Okay. Yeah, I like the Budweiser beer, actually. Budweiser. I don't like Bud Lights.
Oh, I was going to say Bud Light, if that's included. We love Bud Light. So.
Bud Light, yeah.
So you say underrated or
What?
accurately?
Accurately rated?
People like Bud Light.
Oh yeah, so probably
accurately.
Yeah. But I feel like here it's underrated.
Yeah, people don't drink it here.
All of our families in the Midwest, and they all love Bud Light. So.
Yeah, and then Budweiser's like rarely drinking around. I don't see anybody drink it.
No,
yeah, out there we drink it in the bottle a lot, and it's so good in the bottle. I feel like people don't give.
I love the
Bud
bottle.
Heavy a
Also,
chance.
I do think any beer is going to be best where it's getting drinking the most, like where it's getting like filtered through. So it's like.
What's your favorite light beer? Is Bud Light your favorite light beer?
Mm-hmm.
Can you guess what mine is?
What is your?
Well, there's gonna be a fourth one, but usually they're the three giants: Miller Lite, Coors Light, and Bud Light.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Oh, so not those?
No.
Like Rolling Rocks or
Natural Light.
Natty Light. Oh my
Natty
gosh.
Lights.
What about Keystone?
I don't think I've had a Keystone.
Yeah, Keystone's pretty good.
Natty Lights don't like sit like the flavor doesn't sit there and overwhelm me. There's like that bitterness that sometimes like even with like a Bud Light or Coors Light, it's still you're like tasting the wheat a little too much.
Yeah.
For like a light beer, I just want it to have like a refreshing feel. So the Natty Light is the beer I like to go with.
Yeah, there's definitely like a little line of like like from I think like probably like Bud Light or Miller Lite has the most flavor. Bud Light, Coors Light, and then I think Natty's a little bit above that. Yeah.
It's like because and I'm right there with like I kind of want the least flavor.
Yes.
Like I want it
Yeah.
to know it's enough that it's a beer, but I don't want it to like keep reminding me it's a
Yeah.
beer afterwards.
I feel like that's a crazy take though.
Do you also like seltzers?
No. So, we're gonna get into the seltzers. So yeah, overrated, underrated. You're gonna say light beers are. This was that was the next one. So you say they're underrated, right?
Yeah.
Light beers.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
How about cervezas or Mexican beer? You're gonna probably say the same thing, I would imagine. This is just coming from my list of stuff.
I feel like they're like accurately.
But I'd
rated.
say East Coast are underrated.
Yeah.
Nobody drinks
Yeah.
in there.
But like here.
yeah,
because
everyone
Yeah.
loves
over
them.
here.
Yeah.
They're
everyone loves
accurately
them.
rated out
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
and maybe there's a something you could tap into on the East Coast
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah. It's a goal.
Overrated, underrated. What about Japanese lagers?
Ooh, underrated, but they're getting hot right now. The
Are
past
they?
like 2 years, Harland Rice Lager. Have you not heard of that one?
I haven't heard of Harlan.
That you can
yeah.
see it anywhere, like Sprouts, even like small markets.
I think also just people traveling to Japan.
Yes.
People have been getting really obsessed with Japanese
yeah.
culture in general, which includes the beer.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen these. They sell them at like Trader Joe's. Also, that was another
try.
question I want to ask because you seem like your beer would fit the shelves of a Trader. They literally look like they would because of course they got those German Pilsner cans that I like.
Yeah.
Right there. Have you ever thought that you could maybe make it to a Trader Joe's shelf?
Oh, it's totally the goal. The only thing I don't like is they don't refrigerate the beer, so maybe I want it.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I would ask for a refrigerator. I think it's annoying because I don't buy beer there because it's so annoying that it's not refrigerated.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe that we could do a negotiating tool. They probably want it, but
Yeah.
I hate that they don't have fridges.
It's
for
also
the
really
beer.
important to keep beer that's like
Refrigerated.
to be refrigerated.
Yeah, so I don't know if we'd want that.
So your specific beer needs to stay a
It should
temperature?
be. It
Oh,
It
should
doesn't
be.
need to be, but
Yeah, the more temperature changes with beer, like even if it's Coors Light,
Yeah.
it'll diminish the quality. So if it goes hot, cold, that's what would really bother it.
I've always thought that. I'm like, I always feel like it's if you say it was to buy cold beer, but then I have like too much stuff in the fridge,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then I have to like maybe put some out in like the cupboard or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm doing like a sin to the beer.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna damage because fluctuation is gonna cause the
Yeah.
quality to
Totally.
You gotta like
decrease.
sacrifice the juices or whatever else is in there. 'Cause
Yeah.
don't want to kill the beer.
So you say Harlan, huh? And that is that kind of like also on the light side as well.
Yeah, super light. It's such a big beer right now. They're blowing up for sure.
Do you have any other favorite Japanese lagers? Like, do you like Kirin, Sapporo?
Sapporo, yeah,
Orion.
all of those Japanese brands. I'm actually really not well versed on them, but I know the labels.
Yeah,
But I love all Japanese beers.
I love Japanese
All of
beer
them.
too.
Yeah, that was we're obsessed.
You're talking about a beer that's like lighter on flavor.
Yeah.
I feel like Japanese always kind of hit that.
Do you ever go to Good Choice Sushi?
Yeah, that's really
yeah.
good.
I had it last week.
I want to go. Good Choice Sushi. Yeah, they have Good Choice. For listeners that don't know, they have like little boats that go around, and you can pick your food off the boats. It's got a like nice little peaceful vibe.
Yeah.
I kind of like to. I feel like it changed a lot over the years.
Yes.
I think I did like it a little bit more back in the day as compared to now. But
Yeah.
I like to go. Do you go to Dana Kai?
Yes.
Dana
A
Kai.
little
What about
yeah.
Genkai though?
You're all about Genkai,
Yeah,
huh?
we like
Genkai's more of our
Genkai.
spot,
We
yeah.
don't really like Dana Kai.
We've gone, but
It's
yeah,
fine,
it's
but-
good. But I feel like it's overpriced for what you're getting. That's
Yeah.
always our issue. It's good, but it
Mm-hmm.
seems like the portions are smaller. Genkai, the portions are
Yeah,
bigger.
bang for your buck.
Yeah,
Really?
bang for your buck. That's
Well, when the pandemic happened and then they were like, not letting you into the bar, and then
Yeah.
they put you in that little room, I got really off put by Genkai.
No, they still put you in the room. We get put in the room
I
sometimes.
don't like that room. It's the worst. The only place I want to be in that place is at the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
the
best part
chefs.
is that they
You have
have
to
like
enjoy the room.
you
to
have
over
to enjoy it, and they have
Yeah.
like these like what is it where they like put the plastic
specials?
Yeah, the specials are like
All
freshly
over the
like
walls.
printed on
Yeah.
the paper, and they're like pinned to the wall, and it's like specials, eel, whatever, like gnarly stuff. But eel's not gnarly, but they have some crazy things on there. We're like,
Okay.
oh, we should try those one day.
Well, what about Dana Kai? Is they're fast. Like they're fast and attentive.
They are, yeah.
And I don't know. I like their food there.
Yeah.
But I'm not like a sushi snob
Yeah.
by any means.
Yeah, we
So-
should try it again. We haven't been there for a while.
Yeah, I like going there. I took my brother and his future wife to for like a preemptive before they were gonna get married sort of thing.
What do you get there?
I'll get anything. Just like I like anything with like a yellowtail
Yeah.
and like a
Yeah.
jalapeno,
Yeah,
spicy
same.
sushi,
Yeah.
and then just sushi alone, but like rolls, of course.
Yes.
So, and don't judge me. Sometimes I like cream cheese in my roll sometimes. So please don't judge me. Not all of them,
Yeah.
but like once in a while, I'm like, I want some cream cheese in the middle there.
Okay,
So
no, that's fine. I had a roommate that was like, I love sushi, I love it. And we went to go get sushi, and she's like, I'll get a California roll. And I'm like, what?
yeah, just get those little to-go ones at Albertsons or
Yeah,
Ralph's.
But I'm like,
Yeah.
you can't claim that you love sushi and you've only had a California roll.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't. You
You
can't claim
know,
that.
it's
no.
one thing to say that I don't really like it, and then we're okay. But
No, we want you.
That's not it.
If they really like sushi,
Yeah.
make them eat like a octopus sushi.
yes,
Like
yeah.
something that's like real slimy, and or
Scary.
Yeah, scary, or an eel or something.
Yeah.
Just like do you really like make them eat a sashimi, something that's like a little bit extreme.
Yeah.
Do you think we're doing overrated, underrated? Do you think cold mugs are overrated or underrated? Because
Underrated.
Underrated. There's not
Okay.
enough. There's not enough.
Yeah, I think all beer at a
this-
restaurant should be served in a cold mug.
Mm-hmm.
And the funniest places serve cold mugs. Say like Ballpark Pizza, they serve cold mugs. But
Yeah.
any given bar, I feel like I never see cold mugs, and they're like never like frosty cold. There's such a difference.
Yeah.
It's
And I feel
crazy.
like beer should be appreciated in the same way wine's appreciated. I feel like wine gets so much cushion. You get like a wine bottle served in like a bucket of ice, and beer is just served in a cold glass.
yeah,
Yeah, we want everything.
Yeah.
Want a bucket of ice for our
Yeah.
beers.
I think it's proper to have chilled glass for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Bar Rescue?
Yes.
Yes.
And so I learned one thing is that you're supposed to start when you're pouring from like a can or bottle, you're supposed to start at a 45-degree tilted angle. And then after halfway pouring the beer, and then you pour it up, and then you create the foamy part, which they call the head.
Yeah.
So is that how you think it should be poured, or do you think it should be poured a different way?
I don't know.
I think that sounds right to me.
It sounds right. I feel like you see like the guy that pours it where he just like
John Tafford?
where he makes the beer get super fluffy and
Yeah.
he's like this is how it reacts in your stomach. I don't know. It's like
It's true.
A beer is a beer. I really don't think it matters how you pour it, but that's probably like so wrong to say. But I feel like sometimes like I see both sides.
Yeah.
I kind of pour mine however it works.
Yeah.
When I used to work at a bar, I pour it like that.
yeah.
Like how you mentioned.
Yeah.
But
I remember working in restaurants and you'd be like pouring the beer into the big containers.
Yeah.
And there was a way to pour it, but sometimes the keg just wasn't tapped properly and it would be terrible either way.
Yeah, sometimes
So
the
it
kegs would
doesn't
be so
matter.
foamy that
Yeah.
you'd just be like pouring forever, and so sometimes you just gotta get the beer out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Guinness?
Oh.
I do like Guinness, but that's a
Yeah.
newer thing in the last like year.
Here, I
maybe
feel
it's
like.
maybe it's also just getting more popular. I saw like
I heard they were selling out in the UK
Yeah.
recently. Like last year, they were selling out.
Yeah.
Or they were like running out of
Yeah.
the water was running
Yeah.
out for them or something.
Well,
Yeah.
they've been doing a huge marketing push past couple of years.
yeah.
They've been like pushing celebrities. Like they've been sponsoring like weird influencer events where it's like they've
Yeah.
been having Kim Kardashian hold a Guinness, and you're like, why are you doing that?
I don't even believe that.
Yeah, no. There's
That's like the big-
I don't know if it's Kim, but there's like crazy celebrities.
That's like the big
that are,
mismatch they did with Bud Light.
Yeah,
You know? So
yeah.
we don't need to get into that. But like, do you take when you get the Guinness though? Do
Yeah.
you let it sit and let let it do its thing until it's like gotten foamy at the top?
Dude, I'm a new Guinness drinker, and I used
Okay.
to pour like some like nitros and stuff, stouts
Yeah.
at the bar, and yeah, you kind of have to like pour half and let it set, and then pour the rest.
Wait, look, I have the photo.
Of what Kim Kardashian?
Yeah, with the Guinness.
That's a horrible mismatch.
Let
She
me
doesn't drink beer.
Oh my gosh.
She doesn't drink beer. She's a liar.
But I do. I
know.
like Guinness a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's really delicious.
Did you know it's like the same calories as a Bud Light?
I believe it. I believe it.
I did not
I
know
totally
that,
do.
But I
Yeah.
didn't.
So
crazy.
like if you drink one, it's like again,
Yeah.
drink like something I believe that might I don't know,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's probably the same thing as with your beer,
Yeah.
Phiella Beer, that is like when you drink it, it's not gonna damage you as
Yeah.
much as like some poorly crafted beer.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Guinness is brewed in here, like for the stuff in the States. Is it brewed in the States?
I mean, I hear a lot about like where beers are not really
Yes, yeah,
actually brewed and where there's, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know exactly how
Yeah.
where they.
Well, we went to a bar in New York and they supposedly got their Guinness really fresh. It was like one of the oldest bars in New York.
Yeah,
It's like an Irish pub.
starts with the S.
But they prided themselves.
Swiss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they say that they have like the best Guinness pours.
Yeah.
I'm asking ChatGPT right now: is Guinness brewed in United States? Let's see what.
I feel like that guy was telling me that was Boston or something.
Yes, it is, but only for certain varieties. The main Guinness draft and other core beers are still brewed in Dublin. But 2018, Guinness opened the Guinness Open Gate Brewery in Baltimore, Maryland, which brews small batch experimental beers and some Guinness Blonde for the U.S. market. I've never had the Blonde, so
Me neither. I do.
Interesting.
I do need to like try the trick that everyone says, like pouring Guinness, where you do like flat, like you put the cup.
I've
over
seen
it.
that. Yeah.
I want to do that. Maybe we should do that tonight.
Hey, well, after this, maybe we can hit Santora's. Have you ever been there?
No.
Oh, you gotta check it out.
Oh,
It's a wing place, right?
It'll be around on me for coming on the show.
dude, wings.
Let's see. Okay, I think we're gonna take a little quick break so we can get into the next hour. We're gonna start getting into the day-by-day operations of Miss Sophi and Miss Bella Hanna. Sorry, I'm so bad with this. So again, you're listening to Jeffrey Show. Stay tuned.
The Jeffrey Show.
Who could be scared of a Jeffrey? My name is Jeff.
Welcome back to the Jeffrey Show live on Saddleback Radio. It is Tuesday, March 11th, 2025. It is top of the 6 o'clock hour. I'm your host, Mr. Jeff Holt. I hope you're having a lovely week so far. It is raining, and we do certainly need it because it was a dry winter for the most part. So it's nice to see some rain. And today I got my two guests, twin sisters, once again, Miss Sophi and Bella Hanna of the Phiella Beer Company. Thanks again for coming in. I'm just unloading all the sound bites.
I'd buy that for $1.
That's an old school one. Well, once again, what I wanted to get into is day-to-day operations. What are you doing during the day? Because I am very impressed by what I just catch a glimpse of what you're doing on your Instagram. It seems that you are doing all the distribution. Am I correct here?
Yes. Yeah.
So what is that like? Is it both like? So who's managing what? Like what? Give me like a day-to-day of what you're doing usually.
Well, I do Phiella full-time myself, and then Bella works another full-time job. So I run the day-to-day operations, but every day we meet up and kind of make a game plan of what needs to get done. Bella definitely has like a strong suit with like marketing and understanding like stuff like that. So I kind of will do just like the boring stuff, like the books and all that, and just day-to-day like distribution and running the Instagram and all that. But she has really good insight on like managing and just understanding the business. It's like I was talking to someone the other day how we both are always on the same page. Like we know what Phiella is, what it's going to be, so we don't have to really explain it to anyone else.
Yeah.
But we definitely, it's like a joint effort with the whole production.
I mean, that speaks volumes of what you're saying. Is like you the product that you have is an established product, and it doesn't need to be anything else. It's like it already has like a predestined. The story, I'm excited to see what how the story will unfold with you two and your product. So like, that's like we were mentioning this before, that how often are you seeing organic, natural beers in the market?
Yeah.
Nil,
Barely,
like
yeah.
barely. Like if
Yeah.
you even go to a Bevmo, good luck even finding a gluten-free beer.
Yeah.
Which are terrible.
Have you
what's
had
that?
non-alcoholic beers?
I hosted dinner night on Saturday, and someone brought non-alcoholic IPAs. Those are going to sit in the back of the fridge for the rest of their existence until the person that brought them are going to drink them.
It is, yeah. I have a friend that drinks non-alcoholic beers, and every time she's like, "Try it. What do you think?" And I'm like, "These are so bad. Every single one.
Yeah.
It tastes like unfermented beer."
The Heineken ones aren't as terrible.
The
actually.
Heineken
I heard the
Those ones
Heineken
are
Zeros
good.
are pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were good. I
Yeah.
agree. But
Yeah.
in general, like the hazies and just
Yeah.
the blondes,
Yeah.
I've had them. I'm like, and we would always taste test our beer throughout the fermentation process. So I'm always like, it tastes like unfermented beer. It tastes kind of sweet.
Well, it's funny because we didn't mention this, but we tried to make gluten-free beer initially.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a disaster because what it came down to is we were just putting all these things, like adding all these ingredients to make up for the grains when
Syrups and
when
everything.
it came down to it, we're like, wait, this is the least natural thing that you could make.
Yeah, it turns into a malt liquor. It's just fermented sugars that we're putting in.
So you didn't know that you were going to do like a natural style beer because you were like trying stuff with like syrups and such that weren't like cornstarch, right? Or
No, like honey.
Yeah.
So it was almost like a mead. But we were trying to make gluten-free to where like our friends could drink it. So we do like a lot of rice, and then you have to have more sugars for it to ferment into alcohol. And so it just
We were
it was
trying to get
horrible.
creative, and it was just kind of a mess.
And rice even isn't like a great ingredient for making beer. It gives like a
Yeah.
weird mouthfeel. It's like very untraditional. I like rice in beer, but a certain amount. So it was just it didn't make sense.
And when it came down to it,
and
we
stuff.
want it to be a beer. We're like, we don't want to make something weird where you can't even legally call it beer.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what it comes down to a lot of products, I think.
Because it's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that that you did decide to go to like a real beer.
Yeah.
There was definitely a big creative process of us trying and failing at it.
Yeah, like bring me through that. Like, so how many years, like from grandma's, starter kit to to when you decide, okay, this is the beer. How long did that process take?
It was 2019 to 2023.
Yeah, that's when we like made the beer. That's when we tried the
Yeah.
beer and we're like, okay,
It was right when we got back from our trip from Europe. We were inspired to make a beer.
Did you do it to spite that old lady that you didn't like that you worked on the farm?
Dude, maybe. I
Yeah,
don't
she
know.
definitely inspired us.
Yeah, we were inspired. We left inspired, and yeah, it's funny we did leave it from that specific because we even talked about the other farm. The other farm was amazing. The first one was crazy and psycho, but it was one of those things that just like left such an impact on us. Like I feel like the whole trip's memorized in our head with the pros and cons. So it was like a beautiful kind of character building situation. And we said so 2019 to 2023.
Yeah, right when we got back, we started making beers, and lagers take a while for them to set because they cold ferment. So you put them in a fridge and just let them sit. And so that's the beauty of lagers too. You don't have to put additives to filter the beer faster. Like it will naturally filter and preserve the beer. So like our beer has like a decent shelf life without adding any additives to make it have that shelf life, which is great.
You didn't take any you didn't read a book. It sounds like
we bought a book and didn't read it.
okay. You're doing okay. Again, you were
tried.
mentioning you study through YouTube, which
Yeah.
is I mean obviously that's how people are learning these days. But
Yeah.
like I'm just like the way you're describing, like you really know your ish.
Yeah, by default.
Yeah, by default.
It's almost like we're like the epitome of like just trying to figure it out quicker,
Yeah.
and then by the end of it, you're like, okay.
We
well,
learned way more. It's almost like how cheating's almost teaches you more than learning something.
Yeah,
I feel
if you're-
like I think we try to do that. We try to get like the cheat code the whole time.
Yeah.
And then we learned everything because we tried every maneuver of way. Like, let's make a beer that's gluten free. Let's make a beer that like is fully, like we tried all the creative ways, and in the end we're like, okay, let's just do the basic one. But we already know how to do that because we've done all the hard stuff.
Yeah. And when we first started making beer, so with like the grandma's kit and stuff, we were making ales from the very beginning up until 2022 is like when we came back from our trip, and it was like the end of 22. We came
Ales
back,
are really basic to make.
and it takes 2 weeks. So you
the
can make-
ales are the easiest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just make a beer and it's done in 2 weeks, ready to drink. Whereas lagers, so when we came back from the trip, we're like, okay, like Mexican lagers, like those are our favorite right now. We can take everything what we learned with all the hazies and the ales and bring it to this lager, making it light, good quality, like
but with flavor.
with flavor. Yeah. So then we're like, oh shoot, we have to learn how to make a lager. And we had worked with like a little bit with like temperature control and stuff with fermenting and stuff. So we figured that out and then made this beer. It was our first shot at a lager, and we would say that we think we nailed it. And we were blown away. We were expecting like 10 tries, but we made the first one and we're like, it's perfect.
So when you said okay, so you tried the IPAs, you tried the ales, and any other? Did you try pilsners?
No.
No.
No pilsners. Is pilsners take longer, shorter?
Skip. No, I'm kidding. No, I
Yeah.
like Pilsners, but
We probably should have, but I think we just went to.
Why do you kind of shrug the Pilsner off? Pilsner off.
I feel like it just reminds me of my dad. Their
Yeah.
Pilsners are good, but
But that was a big beer that was big in Europe. But I think again, we were just thinking of like at that point when we like got serious about it, we're like, we need to do something that's good for the market, like
Yeah.
where we have opportunity. And lagers, like Mexican lagers, that's just where it is.
Yeah, those German beers that they sell at Trader Joe's,
Yeah.
like the cheaper ones that you can get like 6 for like, and they're pints for like $8 or something like that.
Yeah.
the Jose
Every time I
Cuervos
drink just
or
one,
the-
what?
They're like the Jose.
No,
Trader Jose's
not the
or something?
Trader Joe's brand. It's
Okay.
it's a German. It's from
Oh,
Germany.
okay.
Yeah, but every time I drink one of them, I feel so thirsty.
Oh,
like
yeah.
way more thirsty than any other beer.
Yeah.
They dry you out.
Yeah, I feel like they do.
Yeah.
So you decided. So you dry all these beers, and then you get to the lager, and you're like,
Yeah.
and your first attempt on a lager, you're like, this is it.
Yeah, and also with that, we split up our batch into 2 different batches, and we made one like a specialty batch with a special ingredient we won't name because it might be coming out later on. But we split it up, and one was a flavored version, and one was just the plain lager. And like coming back from our trip, we came back. This beer took us 8 weeks
Yeah, something
to
like
do
that,
total because you had to like make it and we let it set and we made sure to let it set extra long just to make sure it was good. And we had a tasting party with all of our girlfriends because our big thing is we wanted our girlfriends to like our beer. And we had everyone taste test the one that was flavored and the one that was not flavored. And everyone chose the one that wasn't flavored. And we decided to go with that one. But it was crazy because it was just our first attempt ever making one.
It shocked us because the flavored one seemed something that would be more approachable to girls and stuff. And they were all like, no, this is the plain one's like the first beer I've ever liked.
So the flavored one, what was the flavored? You said you can't say it yet?
Yeah, she's
Okay, well, I wanted to get into
Gatekeeping.
like future product development, but like, so you had to that maybe the flavor one will become another product.
Yes, yeah.
So the girls are drinking it. You know what's funny? Every time I had my neighbor that I was speaking of that he would pour beer for us.
Yeah.
And I would drink it and I go, this is my reaction. I'm sorry, audience, but like I would drink it and go, it's good.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like you try to like be
it's a
nice
lot
because
of
it's like
that.
cool to like I love the idea of people and it's not that it was terrible, but it's just like it's not something I would usually drink.
Yeah.
So when your friends were drinking it, did you see like an authentic response?
Yeah, and we had made a lot of beer before this, and we always
you'd have them taste
test it, and like our girlfriends, and even like when I was in college, I'd have just like friends come over and just try it straight from tap and be like, "What do you think?" And yeah, I can tell if they didn't really like it, but this was one, and I think especially too, it sounds silly, but my mom's approval was the biggest one because she really doesn't like beer, and like moms are gonna be the most honest with you.
Yeah,
at least
of
our
course.
mom is.
Yeah.
And she tried it, and she was like, "This is really good." She's like, "I actually really like this," and she doesn't prefer beer, and she's just the most honest as it gets.
But she's drinking it now?
Yeah, she loves it.
Okay,
She does.
that's cool.
She does,
Yeah.
yeah, still to this day. So that was probably the biggest approval we got, where we were like that, and then our girlfriends on top of it were like, okay,
Yeah.
we're like, we need to go with this one.
So have you built some muscles loading and offloading all those kegs?
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. Keg arms. That's what we call them.
Yeah, because like I think so Courtney Jones, the GM of Project Social, mentioned you last year.
Yeah.
And it's been in the back of my mind to get you on eventually. So again, thank you for being on here.
Of course.
How did you get onto Project Social? How did you get into Knuckleheads? I've seen. How did you get to Eco Center?
Ecology Center.
The Ecology Center. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did these accounts get established?
It literally like cold, just walking in, bringing in some products.
Sophie also had a background in being a sales rep for alcohol company.
Yeah, I
So
worked,
with that-
I worked for the
Small.
Long Drink in San Luis Obispo, and this job was also just handed to me by a friend. Was like, hey, like I work at this job in Santa Barbara, and they're hiring in Slow. You should apply. Applied for it, not thinking twice of it, but it's crazy. Like to this day, I'm doing the same stuff I was doing in sophomore year of college. It's the craziest thing.
But also the thing, there's like more incentive since it's your product,
Yeah, and that was the thing I
which
learned.
is an easier sell.
Oh yeah, totally. But back then, I fell in love with the product I was selling, so it made it easier.
What was
to
the
sell.
product?
It was like a gin seltzer. It's the Long Drink. It's still, I love it. It tastes like a squirt.
Okay.
It's not my normal type of drink I would drink, but I loved it in
Yeah.
college, and I still would drink it. It's really good.
It's like a Finnish drink.
Yeah.
And it like just got brought to the States when she started doing
What's the
that.
name of it?
The Long Drink.
The Long Drink.
Yes,
Okay, I'll
it's
keep
like
that in mind.
a blue can. It's really good. Anyway, so I was working there, but anyways, I came back home. We're doing this, and yeah, so just walking in. So I learned my sales from that job, and I struggled at it a lot when I started because it was crazy. I was like a remote sales rep. I'd never been trained. I only talked to a girl on the phone, and a few months into it, she came and like did like a ride along with me. But it was mostly just having to figure out like going into accounts and saying, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah. Can I pour you a sample? And I was like, this is so embarrassing and weird. I'm bothering people. But there was a big learning curve I had to get over. And I feel like once I got over that, I was like, okay, this is a piece of cake, you know?
Yeah.
So that, I think those skills really carried over for Phiella. And of course, yeah, our own brand,
Yeah.
10 times more passionate or 100 times more passionate. And yeah, just walking into places, bringing the samples. And I think getting into sales, I think anyone that does sales or experiences knowing people that do sales is that you just have to like kind of cut off the emotional tie with it. You just have to be bold with it and be unapologetic. And like at the end of the day, if somebody's gonna buy it, they'll buy it. If not, whatever. It can't like hurt your feelings. So I think there's definitely like a boldness that we've had backing Phiella of just being like, okay, we're bringing it in. They say like maybe okay, we're gonna come in again next week.
Yeah.
And make sure that they see it. So it's been all in person, no connections to any restaurants. It's just all walking in, pouring a sample.
So like I was surprised by Knuckleheads, but like it seems like you've done like a photo shoot there. Am I correct? You did in their little wine room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why Knuckleheads? Because it kind of seems like I don't know if like they would take you. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, right?
Yeah.
Did you have trouble trying to get the beer into that place?
Knuckleheads.
I'm not.
No. So when we first, Knuckleheads is kind of an interesting story because the reason we got connected with them in the first place is that we were looking to do a photo shoot for our cans. So this was like this time last year.
Yeah.
And we were trying to be creative. A lot of our stuff, like being like self-funded, we have low budget for marketing. So we're like, maybe we can find a local dive bar and get some cool shots of the cans and like dress up, make it kind of a cool juxtaposition. And I had saw some of their photos online. I was just scrolling dive bars that were local. And I had a friend that knew the manager there, our old brewer, and he's like, I'm like, hey, can you get me connected with this kid? And so I got connected with them, came in, I'm like, can we do a photo shoot here? Anyways, they're really cool, young crowd that runs it. They're fun people, and ever since we did the photo shoot there, they're like, we'd love to bring you on, but it kind of just got postponed until this year, where they brought us on because I think they didn't have enough keg space. But it's been kind of like almost, that one was like sort of a weird mutual connection. But yeah, it's a cool place. We love being in there.
Yeah, I think it's a cool spot. I have friends that live in St. Clemente. We will go there from time to time for sure. It's a cool spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, not that I'm saying your beer's not accepted anywhere, but it just seems like kind of a juxtaposition.
Yeah.
If you like, did you try any other dive bars?
Not really, but there's one in mind that we really want to get into, which is Cook's Corner. Our dad and our grandpa had a Harley shop, so my dad grew up like being there all the time.
Okay.
And so he's big like Harley guy. So we've always had a love and appreciation for these real like divey bars.
Yeah.
Not just any dive bar, but one that kind of like fits the vibe.
Yeah.
You got to check. You got to check Santoras.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take you there.
Okay.
Because like it's like they make wings and pizza, really good food. But they're like these dads come in here all the time. It's like a locals joint.
Yeah.
And they're always at the bar. I think tonight they do trivia.
Oh, super fun.
And then I would think you might get a kick out of that place, and maybe down the road you could try to get your product in there.
Oh, totally. Yeah. It's like we definitely like open. I feel like with our brand, we love the juxtaposition of like being like a classier beer, but being seen with these like kind of it's like old school products. I feel like
we've been trying really to be careful with our marketing to make sure it's accepting of like a large target market. So we didn't want to be called a beer or girl beer in specific because we want guys to drink it. Like we've been trying to be very careful about having our product to be accessible for all people, including like bikers and grungy bar goers, along with like classy people. Like we've been trying to,
or like say like a luxury hotel, something like that. So we're trying to play like that fine line to where we can
being in the middle,
play both cards, because we've gotten attention from also places that are more of like an upscale restaurant.
I feel like they could be fit in almost any sort of venue.
Yes, we're hoping for that, which is definitely like you don't want to be too spread out with your marketing, but it makes it fun.
Well, it sounds fun. Let's take a little break. We're going to get more into the business breakdown because, I mean, what you're doing here sounds like I look forward to your future. So
Thank you.
We're going to take a little break. This is Ripple, the song Ripple by Good Neighbors. You're live on the Jeffrey Show on Saddleback Radio. Stay tuned.
My name is Jeff.
Probably heard about self-care Sundays, but self-care is important every day. Maintain a healthy relationship with yourself and make the time to do things for your own well-being, whether it's the weekend or a rainy Wednesday. Self-care reminds you and others your needs are valid and a priority. For more mental health resources, visit activeminds.org. If you're in crisis, call the Lifeline at 800-273-8255. Message from Active Minds and Saddleback College Radio.
Are you stopped at a red light?
No, I don't like this one. I don't like this one.
Oh, wow, is that a moose? What a majestic animal. I better get very close to it for a nice selfie. Oh, wait, now I'm being stomped to death, and here I am, a dumb ghost, reading you this PSA. Folks, believe it or not, people have this weird tendency to approach wild animals, especially ones that have the capability to injure or kill you. This actually happens in real life, so be sure to maintain a safe distance from wild animals, because guess what? They're scared, wild, and unpredictable. Brought to you by the Jeffy and Jeffrey Association and the Jeffed Up Council.
My name is Jeff.
Stop song, stop. Welcome back to the Jeffy and Jeffrey Show live on Saddleback Radio. It is Tuesday, March 11, 2025. It's 6:26 p.m. I'm your host, Mr. Jeff Holt. And, of course, I got my two guests here, Sophi and Bella Hanna. Wait, did I?
Yeah.
Okay. Hannah. I'm like, you ever been to the old Hanna Fest? That's how I kind of get that
Oh,
So-
yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, so Sophi and Bella Hanna, they are the owners of the Phiella Beer Company. What I do? What I do wrong?
You said Hannah again. It's Hannah.
It's like, I know two people. One's named Leah, one's named Leia, and I have trouble
Yes.
with that.
Oh,
so
that's hard too. Yeah.
So apologize for that, and thank you for being on the show. I wanted to get. This is gonna be a little heavy hitting, but so I knew this girl that worked for a big beer company. I'm not gonna say the name, but it rhymes with Schmogpish. And she would mention, this is back in LA, she would mention the struggles of working in a beer company because of it being a male dominated, industry, right? Is there now, this is years ago, this is probably 8 or 9 years ago. So do you see that sort of thing happening now at all?
Probably. I feel like we've gotten treated so well in the local area from all the brewers have been so supportive of us. I don't know. I think we came in a good time, and we came in saying we want to start a beer company. We had a good idea of what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we've gotten a lot of respect, and ever since we've become a local beer company, a lot of the owners know of us, and they treat us like they're like kids almost.
Yeah.
I would say from the beer the community itself, we've been treated very well. I feel like outside of the beer community is something we've faced that more of, like with restaurants or just other people in the restaurant industry or something like that. Maybe that would be the way that we'd be treated weirdly. But like you said, the beer community, I feel like have taken us under the wing.
Yeah, I can't even name one bad experience. I feel like we've been so blessed just in the space that we've been around, and the greatest guys.
Yeah.
Well, all of them are guys.
Yeah,
But,
so I mean, for me, I'm like, why would we not want to have females in the?
Yeah.
But and then there's that restaurant you're telling me that says, oh, we only serve Modelo's.
Yeah.
And I won't name the restaurant. Rhymes. I'm just rhymes with. I'm just kidding. I'm just I guess on premise is the challenge, right? You can get yourself. You have a few on premise accounts, but you can't. How many off premise accounts do you have? You have the Monarch Beach Market, right?
Yeah, we probably have about 5, so significantly less of the off premise. But that's just because liquor stores are harder. It's we know restaurants, the Mexican lager sells, having people come in to buy the cans and convincing a liquor store to have it and for it to move is definitely another challenge.
Also and you don't have time to put sales pitches towards liquor stores.
Yes,
Yeah, because it's just cashiers in there, basically.
Yeah, it doesn't move like it does in restaurants. So it's kind of our priority too of where the beer
We could be in
sells
more
and-
if you tried. I think it's just that.
Yeah.
How did you get Monarch Beach Market? Did it work with? Did it have to happen, or did it happen to happen with Project Social?
No, but fun fact is Project Social was the first account we got to buy our beer, and same with Monarch Beach Market. I think was very close to it, and they were definitely our first off premise. So both of them and it's funny that they're right next door to each other.
Yeah.
The Project Social, they bought it when we were still making the beer in the bottles. They bought one of our original kegs before we got our full production batch. And I just dropped off a bottle, and I think the managers tried it, and they texted me a few days after, we want to get a keg. So that was cool, and I feel a lot of that just came from local support. They knew our story a little bit, and they were of course. Same with Monarch Beach Market. I kind of told him the story, and he was of course. So those two, I feel we hold dear to our heart of being
Especially,
really accepting.
It's crazy with Monarch Beach Market because just growing up, going there to get sandwiches before going to the beach and everything, it's just
local spot.
It's a nostalgic place on its own. So.
Totally.
That whole little strip right there is nice because I like Danakai right there.
Yeah.
You got that Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
And then you can work out. You know,
Get all done.
And you can you can shop on. I mean, Monarch Beach Market is not necessarily a spot where you go get your groceries, but you could get a full. Get some groceries there if you needed to.
Totally.
Get some stuff. And so we really appreciate both the people that run both those places. And again, it just feels nostalgic.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. That's definitely one of the coolest parts about doing Phiella is getting to know all the local businesses in a different way.
That's definitely my favorite part too.
And with that, of course, you see the good things and the bad things.
Do you have any examples?
Sometimes business owners don't treat us the way that we expected. That you'd think.
Yeah.
Being local and going to Dana Hills, doing this and that. We've met some business owners that have not been as accepting us. So that have very much surprised us.
Yeah. Cold shoulder, and we're wow. That It's crazy. But and then at the same time, there's some that have surprised us of like, wow, that is such a cool, like, I think it's so cool to see like local, real like business owners rather than like companies that just have deep pockets where like the managers don't have choices because they have to send it through 10 different people, you know? So it's really neat to see these like family owned businesses, like say like Five Vines is one of our favorite accounts that we have, and they're family owned and operated, and they just
San Juan Capistrano.
Yeah, they also won #1 food place in San Juan for their
I like
food.
Five Vines.
Yeah, food's great. The people are better. It's like so cool.
Yeah, you should definitely like not just Five Vines, but there's got to be a handful of spots in San Juan that. Is there any other places in San Juan that you have, or
La Vaquera,
a newer place in the River Street Market.
Okay. Oh, you have one in River Street.
Yes.
And that was crazy how River Street was like, oh, there's that thing being built over there, and all of a sudden everybody's there, and now all the restaurants are filled. The brewery, you know,
so crazy.
It's crazy how like, and it's like so like nice and pristine.
Yeah. It is. So many people.
Let me ask you this: I forgot if you mentioned the reason why you went from bottle to can.
Expense.
It's more expensive.
Yeah, that's the main one. And there's not even bottlers anymore. It's really hard to find a bottler. So canners are there's only people. There's a big switch. Probably I don't even know. Was that like 2000 late O's 2008 or something maybe? I think. And they switched from bottles to cans, and so all the bottlers sort of like dwindling out because everyone's doing canning. Now there's just none.
It's more efficient, and also in general like
cheaper too.
Yeah, cheaper.
I love bottles.
I do too. Did you find that the beer tasted better in the bottle?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think there's always like a little bit in cans. There's always a little bit of a remnants of an aluminum taste.
Yeah.
Or like not. There's just a can taste.
Yeah.
There always is.
Do you know? Are you familiar with Rogue? The brew. They have one of my favorite beers. It's called Rogue. It's Dead Guy Ale. Have you heard of it?
No.
So I will only drink it from the bottle.
Yeah.
Because like and even they somehow managed to get. I discovered them through Trader Joe's, but then they moved up in the world and went to like Ralph's and Albertsons.
Yeah.
But they only serve them in can, and I'm like, these could be a little bit better in the bottle.
Yeah. Bottle's the best.
The bottle is the best. It's hard to beat, but if it's gonna cost too much for your product, then
If money wasn't a question and it was easy to get bottles, we would 100% only do bottles. And also when we bottled, we hand bottled every single bottle.
Spent like 4 hours in a cooler.
In a, cold storage.
Yeah, it was
That
crazy.
sounds a lot of fun.
It was, it was a memory. It was long enough to where it was engraved memory.
What is it like I don't even know how you do it. What can you give me like a little breakdown how you bottle beer? Like, at scale?
Yeah. Well, no, at scale doesn't matter. If you're hand bottling it, like you're just you have like a little thing that clamps on the
or not siphon.
Yeah, you get something to like pour the beer in. Like it's like I think it
is there like a little gadget that you have that like
you
presses
push down and then it releases the beer and then you let it up and then you put the top on it.
You have to clamp it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like the carbonation needs to be correct in the beer. Like there's like kind of a science to it too.
Yeah, because isn't you want to get the beer in just you don't want like the carbonation to be released, right?
Because you put and then when you put the topper on, it's supposed to like suction in.
Yeah.
You know? That's when you know like it clamps on.
Yeah, there's two different ways. Like you either add some extra sugar to it or like extra whatever malt, and then you let that sugar like finish fermenting once the beer's in the bottle, so then it creates the carbonation. So that's one way. Or you like do add carbonation, which is very complicated because it's like you do it until there's like a little gas bubble around it, and then it's almost imaginary to me. That was confusing.
It was complicated.
It was complicated. Yeah, you have to hand bottle every single one. It was a lot of work. And they're heavy.
So you have to sit. Yeah, they are. So now you send it to a, what do you call it, a cannery, or what do you call it?
Yeah, we work with a brewery, and the canners come to the brewery. So there's mobile canners are a big thing now. So they have a canner come every so often.
Did you initially want to do a 4-pack, or did you want to do a 6-pack?
We were literally just talking about this.
Yeah, we were just talking about it last night.
6-pack came natural to mind, but like with just like looking at the shelves nowadays, we see so many 4-packs, and it just seemed like a better way just to try out a beer is in a 4-pack.
Also, it's less shelf space for us to
per unit. So it seemed like it just made more sense.
Yeah, it's easier sell because we're not taking as much of their racks up.
Yeah, I was like trying to look up like a, what do you call it? Face. It's like something like the actual terminology when it comes to like shelf space. So I've seen the 4-packs a lot, and those come up, especially like Trader Joe's, or if you're in like the IPA section of like a Ralph's or Albertsons. But what about the bottle? Was that like intended to be a 6-pack or was that going to be a 4-pack as well?
We did like 16.9 ounce bottles.
Oh.
So we were
They're
probably
really
just
big
gonna,
boys,
they're like a
I
pint.
like those.
Yeah, they're beautiful bottles, but they I don't know. We weren't even thinking about that then.
Yeah,
so-
we didn't get to that point.
No, but it probably would have just been single bottles because they were kind of heavier. But that'd be crazy if you could do a 6-pack of those.
That would be crazy. They were like big enough to where when we would do dinner as like we'd have a dinner with our family friends over and stuff, and we would get just like 3 of the bottles on the table and use it kind of like wine, where we'd
Right.
like just do small glasses.
Oh, I always like, when you go like to a Japanese restaurant and you get the
Exactly,
big
same,
beer
that's
and you
same.
pour in a small little chilled glass. That's always been my favorite. When when they bring me a bigger one, I'm like, no, I want a smaller
Yes,
one.
yeah.
Little 6-ounce glass.
Yeah.
And what's up with the 6-ounce glasses? You can't find them on Amazon. They're like super expensive for some
Yeah.
reason. It's weird.
They're so cute.
Yeah, I like having them on hand. Let's take a little music break. We're gonna wrap this show up. Maybe get some Merry Day Exile and see also what's in store for the future for the Phiella Beer Company. Stay tuned. This is Real Good Swimmer by Briston Maroney. Stay tuned. That's a wild song, isn't it? But fun. Orange County is your community, and OC in Focus is covering the stories that matter to you. Every Monday at 5 p.m., you'll hear local leaders and experts talking about the issues that shape your daily life. Hosted and produced by Karen Bauer and Saddleback College students, search OC and Focus on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to catch up on previous episodes. Real talk for the real Orange County. OC and Focus, Mondays at 5 p.m. right here on Jazz 885 HD2 and jazz885.org.
Yeah.
That's the joy of the Jeffrey, you see. It goes away, but then it comes back. Ah!
Yeah, welcome back to the Jeffy and Jeffrey Show live on Saddleback Radio. It's Tuesday, March 11, 2025 at 6:45 p.m. And I'm your host, Jeff Holt. And of course, I got my two guests here, Sophi and Bella Hanna. Did I get that right?
Yes.
I keep screwing up their last name. And they are the owner of the Phiella Beer Company. I don't know why I want to say Phiella Beer Company. Like, I don't know why I want to add at the end, but it's just Phiella Beer.
Yeah.
And so grateful to have you on. I've learned so much from the ins and outs of your business. So this is the final segment of the show. We're just gonna shoot the ish a little bit, and also I want to know, like, what is, I don't like to say I hate this interview question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? But like, what is like the next step? You were talking about a product that can't talk about it, but what's the next step for you? What do you have got in mind?
Well, our next step definitely is we want to get into LA or just expand in general. Say like in 5 years we hope to be like all throughout California and hopefully even like New York. That's a big goal for us, is to get in the city out there.
Yeah, we see ourselves a lot in cities in general. So
Yeah.
like LA, San Francisco,
Austin.
New York,
Yeah.
Austin. Like the cities are endless that we want to be in. It's just getting there, of course.
Yeah. And in general with Phiella too, like I don't know if we mentioned before, but we both a vision that we have for Phiella is being able to compete with your typical draft lift beers of like, your Bud Light, Shock Top, all these like typical beers you see, the beers that you see at like a ball game. We hope to be a beer that can differentiate enough from all those. Like
We don't want to be a craft beer.
No, but we're like an organic version of a natural version of these beers, sort of, that can sit on the shelves and somebody be like, oh, I actually want that beer instead of this one. So that I'm sure a lot of people have that dream, but I think that it's feasible and realistic for Phiella, and that's definitely kind of just a driving force with what we picture it to be.
So do you see yourselves like also getting into big? You said you want your beer served cold. So do you see yourself getting into like Trader Joe's, Bevmo, or even a bigger market like Ralph's or Albertsons in the future?
Oh yeah. And there's a lot of steps along the way that we need to get to before that, because a lot of those places you need to, we don't even have a distributor yet. We're self-distributing, so there's certain steps that we have to take, and we're definitely looking towards those right now. We're kind of in a middle position where we're looking for expansion right now. Like the beer is proven to do well in a smaller, but like a big economy of Orange County. So it's proven to do well. It sells out constantly. The restaurants love it. People love it. So it's just how to get there is kind of our next step that we're battling.
What is your thoughts on? So you want to expand, but how are you going to manage the quality of the product?
Yeah. Well, I think something that we'll hope to focus on is having the beer brewed locally, wherever it's at. If we can have it brewed, say if we have it brewed in like Nashville, like have a brewery we work with down there to have it made there instead of being shipped all the way from California. Say that's even New York, have a brewery there. So I think that's something that we've.
And also, we're definitely trying to get into accounts that care about the product.
Yeah.
We're not just trying to get into every account. We're just like, even you talking about big grocery stores, that's not even a priority of ours right now, because what we want is for people to take care of the product and to sell it for what it is.
Yeah, understand the value and want to take care of the product too, for it to.
And I think there is like a huge wave going on of like people wanting to know what's going in their body and to have quality products. And I know like in the wine industry, there's a huge push for that, where people take care of their products. They don't just take a nice bottle of wine and shove it in a hot corner of a room, and that's kind of what we want people to treat our beer as. And so those
Like
are
your little babies.
Yeah, like a baby.
They are
And like if
babies.
it's a quality product and people like it, we'll try to have those accounts that care about that too.
Yeah. And there's so many natural wine shops and all that, like like LA and stuff. Even down here there's some. So I think we definitely have like the target like market of where places that we could picture Phiella being sold, and those will be probably the pockets that we hit first as we expand.
One place that I remember the chain of it was like a kind of a bougie, fancy Mexican restaurant, like a fancy Chipotle, called Takaya Organica. Did you ever hear about that?
Yeah, I've been there. You haven't been there.
I haven't
Probably.
been there.
Is that LA?
I'll write it down.
That's definitely right in your wheelhouse. I would say check that place out. I don't know, like I was there in LA. Yeah, it's still active. I was just I was looking at a place up in Sunset Plaza. It doesn't look like it's there anymore, but it used to be there. But I was saying that's if you check their website out, you would totally fit into this type of their style. But then again, you're going to the juxtaposition of going to dive bars, which is really cool. So, and then I feel like, you're talking about sporting arenas. That would be cool. Like at a baseball game, drinking your own beer, that would be neat. Or a hockey game.
So cool, yeah.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, though, it can be a really tough getting into sports.
I bet.
It's almost like you have to.
That's
like,
the moneymaker, right?
You have to almost pay to have your beer in there. Not that you even make money. So I think I don't even know. Maybe that's not the case, but what I've heard, that's from the case like locally. So.
What about Beer Fest? Are you getting your product served that way at all? Or is that something you again are like don't like the idea of your product the product quality?
Yeah, like you mean
or
like
being taken like you're saying getting your beers taken care of properly. You're at this warm, hot, stuck under a tent, and like people are just getting drunk off beer. Like
I think we would 100% love to do that if we got asked. I just don't think that's a priority of ours, because with our target market, like I feel like we're targeting people that are beer drinkers, but in general we really are targeting people that don't drink beer as much and like to have a different option. So like I feel like those beer fests, they're great and we would love to be there, but their target market is there. Like everyone that loves beer and wants to try all these different types of crazy beers. And for us, it's just like we have a basic product in a way. It's like we love it and it's amazing, but it's like pretty like standard, and like going there isn't necessarily gonna like boost our like.
Well, yeah, I run into a lot of beer drinkers that try our beer, and they'll be like, "This is good," but like I'm an IPA guy, so I'm like, okay, well, this is gonna be hard to veer you in this direction. It's not as much our target market trying to convince people out of it, but the one thing is though, what a lot of our drinkers of people that purchase Phiella are people that do like beer.
Yes, it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, but either way, we like to be seen in different areas. Something too, like we love, like I think like music festivals are cool. That would be fun. Like something like Coachella or Stagecoach, I could see
that'd be cool.
Phiella being poured at.
Or Ohana Fest.
Ohana Fest, exactly. So we were working on stuff like that, and those beer festivals are obviously awesome. People like go around with their little tiny cups and try everything.
But at the end of the day, we're definitely at the point in our company where we take any opportunity we get.
Yes.
We're not picky at all.
No.
So you're like getting invited to these events like such as a Ecology Center, and then congrats on your caniversary.
Thank you.
You celebrated your caniversary over at ABBA. Is that what it's called in Laguna Beach?
Yeah.
How did that go?
Amazing. Yeah.
ABBA's the best.
Yes.
Have you been there?
I've driven past it. I've never been inside.
You have to go.
I wanted to go last Saturday, but I was hosting dinner night, and like then they took too long. I'm like, I could have gone to this and shook hands with them and said, introduce myself rather than just meeting you on air here. So,
Well, they have the best burger in town, so if you want smash burgers,
okay.
and they have Phiella on tap.
And
Yes.
that they always serve Phiella on tap?
Yes.
And do they, that's South Laguna, right? Or
Yes.
the South Laguna?
Yeah, South Laguna.
So I got to go check this place out.
Yeah.
Abba. I was gonna say let's do some Merry Day Exile, and then we'll wrap this show up.
Okay.
Do you know it's kind of a tame version of MFK if you're
Yes.
familiar?
Yes.
Okay, just a nicer version, Merry Day Exile. Famous fictional beer drinkers: Homer Simpson, Frank the Tank, or Thor.
Wait, repeat one more time.
Homer Simpson of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Frank the Tank, that's Will Ferrell's character in Old School.
Yeah.
I am aware that you're 25, so this might be
I know.
okay.
Yeah.
And then Thor. You can of course you can have Chris Hemsworth's character.
Wait, what were the three names again?
Homer Simpson, Frank
No, the name of the game.
Oh, Marry, Date, Exile.
Okay, marry Frank the Tank, and then date
Definitely.
Thor, and then kill.
Homer?
Yeah. Homer sucks.
Who would want to be with Homer
I
Simpson all
know.
day?
Ew. I think I will have to go.
Frank the Tank.
Yeah, because you'd be the most fun, right?
He's so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Thor.
Life of the party.
Thor. Chris Hemsworth.
Yes.
Or Thor is a handsome man. Yeah, definitely Homer Simpson. He's kind of he runs a nuclear plant somehow, and
He's drunk all the time.
yeah.
We love Phiella.
Yeah, he would love Phiella.
We've actually had a lot of people tell us that the cans remind us of Duff.
Oh, the Duff
Yeah,
brand
the
beer that
Duff
they have
cans,
in
yeah.
Simpsons.
Yeah.
Okay.
The look of it.
Yeah, it does kind of have a similar
Yeah.
color scheme to it.
Yeah. And the taste.
Marry, Date, Exile, biggest brands that are served worldwide:
Okay.
Budweiser, Heineken, Corona.
Marry Budweiser. Date,
I'm gonna marry Budweiser too.
Yeah.
Date Corona. Exile. What was the other one?
Heineken.
Heineken, yeah.
Unless you're in Europe.
Yeah, unless
I'm surprised not marry Corona, or unless that's like no, our Mexican beer is the best.
I feel like Corona's
Yeah.
like the party beer. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, Corona is so hated on in the beer world. I hear
It kind of
people-
is.
Yeah, I hear people that love beer that are like Corona's disgusting.
You
And
know
I'm,
what's-
like, kind of liked it.
You know what's funny is like I used to hate on it, but then my mom would like have some beer in the fridge, and I would take and I would take some, and I'm like, this is not bad.
Yeah.
And like, would I honestly be able to do in a taste test, a blind taste test, be able to decipher between like a Modelo Pacifico and a Corona? I'm not sure if I would. I've never tried it.
Yeah, I think what makes Corona so good is the bottle.
Yeah. I was gonna
Yeah.
say it's
Yeah.
the most accessible like bottled beer, I think.
Yeah.
It is a nice bottle.
Yes. Yeah.
But go ahead.
No,
What
no,
you
you go. You go.
say? Pacifico does. I do like the brown bottle look.
yeah. Yeah.
And
you
it,
do.
I don't know. It
I do
just
too.
has that good feel of like a classic
Yeah,
beer.
it does.
All right, I'd marry Budweiser.
Definitely marry Budweiser.
I guess we're kind of going geographically here. Budweiser, and then date Corona, Exile, Heineken. Marry, Date, Exile, like where you usually get your beer? A pub, a brewery, or cantina? Marry, Date, Exile.
Definitely date Cantina.
Wait, that's a
Wait.
random. What you mean, marry Cantina?
Date Cantina.
They want marry what? You skipped that one.
Pub, brewery, cantina, marry, date, exile.
Marry pub.
Yeah,
okay, go ahead.
No, you finish.
I'm probably gonna marry cantina because they always got
Yeah.
chips and salsa.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
marry Cantina, date brewery, exile
Pub.
because I think at that point, if I'm drinking at a pub, I'm not appreciating it. The Cantina beers taste the best.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
More refreshing.
Yeah,
I was just thinking about like experiences.
You're dating. You're so stuck on the dating the Cantina.
All right, let's do marry, date, exile. Actual known celeb beer drinkers: Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He has his own beer, and then Anthony Bourdain.
I don't know who Steve Austin is. Do you?
He's a wrestler, and then he was like known for doing like the oh hell yeah and smash beers on the wrestling ring.
Yeah.
He did the Stone Cold Stunner.
Okay, so who is the last one you mentioned?
Anthony Bourdain.
So marry Anthony Bourdain. I would date the wrestling guy, and then the other guy is
Exile, Arnie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on the same page as that.
Oh, speaking of Arnold, he gave me a shout out recently.
I must recommend the Jeff and Jeffrey show.
Tune in every Tuesday, live, 5 to 7 p.m.
Did he
on
do this, or is
Saddleback
this
Radio.
AI?
It's crazy
I
he's
believe the
listening
Jeff
in.
and
He's
Jeffrey
tuning
Show
in.
has potential for unlimited success. Jeff Holt is a true leader and a motivator. I wish Jeff Holt was my son. Also, please don't forget to go Jeff yourself.
Oh, that's so sweet, Arnie. Yeah, that was AI.
That was nice.
that was
Impressive.
AI. All right. Let's do Japanese loggers, and then I think we're going to have to... maybe we got two more in. Japanese loggers, Sapporo, Kirin, Orion.
I think Orion, marry.
I'm gonna marry
Sapporo.
Orion.
Yeah, and then Sapporo, date.
Date,
Yeah, and exile.
Kirin.
Kieran.
Well, I'm going to date Kirin.
Kieran.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think so too. I think I would put Sapporo. I would marry
Last.
Sapporo.
Oh, you marry
I love
Sapporo.
Sapporo.
I like them all.
Yeah, they're all
But
pretty good.
if I had to choose, I would definitely Orion's. Just sounds kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's fun. Again, in the
Star
blind
name.
taste test, I don't know if I would be able to decipher
No,
which
me
one.
neither. Me neither.
Survey says Corona, Pacifico, Modelo, the big ones. Or we can, how about, let's throw in Bohemia. Have you had the
No, I
Bohemia?
haven't had Bohemia.
That's a good one.
No, I haven't had that.
All right, just
That
do
sounds
the
good.
three. Corona, Pacifico, Modelo.
I'm gonna go based off of draft. I do like Modelo, and then Pacifico, and then Corona. How about you?
I would do Modelo, marry Modelo, date Corona, and then I would get out with Pacifico. I'm not
Yeah.
the biggest Pacifico.
Mm.
I
think-
like it, but not.
What about you?
Yeah, I'd probably marry Pacifico, date Modelo, exile Corona.
There you
But
go.
this is a tough decision that had to be made.
Yeah,
Fortunately.
it is.
Well, this has been a wonderful evening having Sophie and Bella Hanna of the Phiella Beer Company, Phiella Beer. So thank you so much again for coming in. It's been wonderful to have you. Keep doing what you're doing. I don't feel like I have to say anything more. I feel like you have it all figured out. You know so much. You have so much knowledge. Where can they find you online if they were to look for you?
Instagram at Phiella Beer, and then www.phiellabeer.com.
And how do you spell Phiella?
Phiella. Phiella also is a mixture of both our names, Sophie, Bella, Phiella.
And real quick, was there any other names before Phiella?
We thought like Twins Brew Co.
Yeah,
That was,
nothing
like, a little bit-
serious.
Yeah,
Phiella had like
something.
that nice little pretty
It
name
is.
to
it
it.
did. Yeah.
Okay. Well, once again, this is the end of the evening. Once again, I want to remind everyone to be healthy, get some good rest, exercise regularly, try to just eat good food, not too much sugar, not too much bread, and still it's okay to have some beer though, even though that involves
More
wheat.
beer.
Yeah, more beer. Drink more
more
beer,
beer.
less bread. Again, I love you all, and I'm going to do like my little sign off here if I can find it.
Go Jeff yourself.
Go Jeff yourself.
Go Jeff yourself.
Have a lovely evening.
Go Jeff yourself.
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 And of course, go Jeff yourself.
Also, please don't forget to go Jeff yourself.